podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Radio Networks on Saturday, May 8th, 2021. This is episode 1794. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Manscaped. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping by going to manscaped.com/twit. And by IT Pro TV. Get the IT certifications you need to be successful in your current role or future career. Visit itpro.tv/twit for an additional 30% off all consumer subscriptions for the lifetime of your active subscription. Use the code TWIT30 at checkout. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. It's time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, you know, all that jazz. 8888, ask Leo. That is my phone number. 888-827-5536. That's toll-free anywhere in the U.S. or Canada, so you could just call that number right from your telephonic device. However, if you're outside the U.S. and Canada, you're going to need to use some sort of newfangled internet doohickey to call me. Some sort of thing like Skype, but it should still be a toll-free call. 8888 ask Leo, that's the phone number. Now, there's a website, so if you hear something on the show and you say, oh, boy, I got to remember that, don't worry, you don't have to. We'll write it down for you. Make a note of that. James DeRuvo, our official scribe, is doing that. Let's see. That's techguylabs.com. Techguylabs.com if you want to... If you want to check that out. No sign up. It's free. You don't have to do anything to use it. And there's a search there and everything. We divide the website into every show. Every show has its own page. This is episode 1794. No, we didn't start at 1000. We started at 1. I've just been doing this a while. 1794. Actually, as geeks, we should have started counting at 0, but I don't think we thought of that. 1794. So you go to the website, you go there, that's divided up, that page is divided up into hours, 1, 2, and 3. Each hour divided up into segments, 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can find the one you want. There's text there initially, and then after a couple of days, we'll put audio and video from the show up as well. TechGuyLabs.com. Let's see, what's going on in the world of tech around us? Well, Microsoft had been touting this Windows 10X for a while, the next version of Windows. It's going to be, we're going to rewrite it from scratch. We're going to componentize it and make it more robust and more reliable. And it's going to be for our new dual screen devices, the Duo and the Neo. Except then the Duo came out and it was an Android phone. What? Hey, what? It didn't sell that well because it was $1,500. I bought one and sent it back because it was just not, it wasn't a great phone. You know, if you're using it as a phone, it's got to be a good phone, first and foremost. Now it looks like, according to Brad Sams over at Petri, Brad's a smart guy with good sources, that the Neo is probably not going to happen, which is disappointing to me because it was very cool, and nor is the Windows 10X, the special version of the rewritten from scratch, beginning of time version of... Windows 10, the new next generation of Windows. Microsoft will not be shipping Windows 10X this year, says Brad, this year being 2021, and the OS as you know it today will likely never arrive. He writes, for about a decade, Microsoft have been trying to modernize Windows in various ways. One of the problems with Windows, I think some would say this is one of the good things about Windows, is it doesn't abandon the history, the past. It still runs software that came out 20 years ago, which is a great labor on Microsoft's part to make that work. Furthermore, impacts stability, security, a lot of things. But they're, hell-bent to keep Windows compatible with everything that ever worked with Windows. You might say that's not true. I might even say that, but so it's kind of like they got the worst of both worlds. It doesn't actually work with every bit of software ever written, and it's as unreliable as if it did. So the whole idea was to modernize Windows with Windows 10X. Remember Windows RT that was killed as soon as Satya Nadella became CEO. He said, okay, that's enough of that. And then for briefly, they did Windows 10S, which was I don't know what S stood for, stupid, simple, something like that. It was Windows, but you couldn't install any software unless it was in the Microsoft App Store. So it's kind of like iOS. That didn't really take off because there was a switch in it that could turn it into normal Windows, and everybody did that. It's like, well, I just want normal Windows, please, thank you. And now Windows 10X. Brad says the question becomes, is there really a future for anything other than traditional Windows 10? Isn't that funny? It's now traditional Windows 10. Guess not. Guess not. Okay. Thank you, Microsoft, for, I don't know, for trying. I don't know. Did they even try? I don't know. They probably hired some people and worked on it, yeah. So Apple AirTags came out. I got one on my keys if I could find them. Oh, wait a minute. That's the whole idea. I can find them. It's, this is like Tile, the number of the Tracker, remember? It's been a hard business for Tracker. They almost went out of business. They pivoted, as they say. Tile is number one, but even they are terrified about Apple's AirTags because here's the deal. This is a Bluetooth tracker. You put it on your keychain or whatever you lose. And then any iPhone within striking range, about 30 feet, will notice it's there. And if you've said, I lost it, it will ping you. The iPhone owner won't know it's you. You won't know the iPhone owner by name or anything, but it'll ping you and it'll say, hey, I saw it down on 4th and Main, and you can run down and get it. So that's, so you don't lose your keys, basically. It has some nice features if you lose the keys in the house, which is mostly where I leave them in the house, right? And I go, where did I leave them? I can't leave for work until I find them. That's my excuse, by the way. Can't leave for work. And I don't have that excuse anymore because you can point your phone around the house and it'll walk you over there. Say, oh, cold, warm, hot. Wow, that's cool. So that scares Tile to death. So Tile has now made a deal with Amazon and this is kind of interesting because Amazon has been working on this. We mentioned it. If you have an Amazon Echo device, you are opted into this thing called Sidewalk, which creates what's called a LoRa, a long-range network. Very low bandwidth, but enough for things like pinging trackers or having, if you have a mailbox down the drive a bit, you can put a little Sidewalk device in there and it'll let you know that the mail's here, or you can put it on your dog, and as the dog walks around the neighborhood, if people have got their Sidewalk turned on in their Amazon Echo devices, kind of the idea would be it would blanket the whole neighborhood. That's actually a pretty strong competitor to Apple's AirTags, because AirTags works with 1 billion iPhones. If Amazon can get this Sidewalk everywhere, and they kind of do have Echoes everywhere, it might be a good thing. Tile, of course, terrified. The CEO of Tile actually testified against Apple in Congress. That's a new thing, right? These guys are beating the pants off us in the marketplace, so can you do something about it? Can you fix that? Yeah, maybe not. Maybe they're just better. I don't know. But the thing that Apple has, of course, is 1 billion iPhones out there, which is pretty hard to compete with, unless you're Amazon. So Sidewalk is going to let Tile devices tap into the network, the Sidewalk network created by millions, not billions, but millions of Echoes. That starts June 14th. So that's kind of interesting. And I would expect that the Tile might extend the Sidewalk too. Amazon also said Sidewalk will strengthen Tile's existing in-home finding experience because you'll be able to say, Echo, find my keys, and the tracker will start beeping. You know what? You could do that before. I don't think that's new. Users with multiple Echo devices connected to Sidewalk. We talked when Sidewalk came out about how to turn that off, but I bet very few people even know it. You can. Users with multiple Echo devices connected to Sidewalk will be able to find misplaced items around their home even faster because it can tell which Echo is closest. So it's, they're basically trying to compete with Apple. And nobody has Apple's market share in smartphones. Well, actually, that's not true. All Android phones equal in the U.S., all the Apple phones. But that's a lot of different manufacturers, and there's a lot of, different ways of doing it and so forth. So, good. Competition's good. It's good for us. It's good for all of us. So I'm happy to see that. What else? Sennheiser. I don't know if you care about headphones, but those of us in the radio biz know the name Sennheiser. They have been around for ages. Some of the best headphones out there. In fact, they make a $50,000 pair of headphones. It's got like a marble base, I think. But I guess the Sennheiser business, tough. They started looking for a buyer a couple months ago. The company's consumer products hit record sales in 2019, but they still lost money because, I thought the headphone business was a high-profit business. I guess not, because of competition from global rivals. They have been sold. It was still run by the Sennheiser brothers. They must be the kids of the original Sennheiser. It's been around for a while. So for about $241 million, a company called Sonova, a Swiss company known for hearing aids and cochlear implants, Sonova, is buying Sennheiser. They say they'll keep the brand, they'll keep making the headphones. That's not bad. It's good money in them hearing aids. So they probably have, they have the money lying around. And finally, it's a slow but steady pace. Computers beat the best human players in chess 20 years ago. Then they beat him in Go, a Japanese game, which is even harder, about 10 years ago. Finally, a computer has won the American Crossword Puzzle Tournament. Dr. Phil, F-I-L-L, get it? Fills in the crossword. Puzzle solving a time. I would have thought crossword puzzles would be the first thing computers could do. They know all the words. I guess it's hard because with crosswords, it's the clue that's, obscure and punny. And that's the trick. It's not knowing the word. It's figuring out what the clue means. Dr. Phil was hatched, according to Wired, they use that word, hatched by a guy named Matt Ginsberg. He's a computer scientist and crossword puzzle buff. He actually builds them. He has been entering Dr. Phil in competition since 2012, making bit-by-bit improvements. And now, for the first time ever, Dr. Phil, a computer, has won the American Crossword Puzzle Championship. That's kind of amazing. This is, although less so when you know that there's 8 million clues and answers in its database. Still, tricky. For instance, certain, like this, here's an example Wired gives. The clue is opium, I gave it away. The clue is measure of neighborhood drug traffic. And the answer was opium density. See, I don't know if I'd get that one. You just have to get everything around it, right? So in order to win that, you got to be fast because the humans who solve these crossword puzzles in these competitions, there's a great movie about this, a documentary. They're fast, like a couple minutes. They go as fast as they can. Their little hands can write. So I guess the computer, as fast as a little mouse could click, won. Sigh. First chess, then Go, now crossword puzzles. 8888 Ask Leo. You know what? It doesn't matter. It's still fun. And when it happened in chess, I remember because I'm a pretty serious chess player, really love the game. But when it happened, almost 20 years ago, people said, oh, nobody's going to ever want to play chess again. Now they know any machine can beat them. No, that didn't change anything. People still play chess against each other and against machines. They still play. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. If you want to talk about high tech, see how it's getting everywhere now? It's even getting into our crossword puzzles. 8888-2755. 866-866-36. That's the number. Let me hear from you. Let's talk. It is not our number. That is not our number. It's Jenny's number, but it's not our number. Kim Schaffer, that's not your number. It's 800. I'm sorry, it's not your number either. 8888 Ask Leo. So there is 8675309 in every area code.
Oh, no.
Has to be owned by somebody, right? Because
I don't know.
People call that.
I'll call it when we get off the air and see who I get.
In every area code, there's somebody with 8675309.
No, that should just be, you know how there's no 13th floor in any building? There just should be no 8675309.
I know. It's pretty funny. If you call it, Tommy Two-Tone does not answer. And I don't think he had enough money to really buy all the phones in all the world that had that number.
Yes.
So what was he thinking? That's the question. What were you thinking, Tommy?
I don't know, but you either choose that number because you want to get called all the time because you're lonely, or you just want to change your number every single day.
The Schamberger family has that number in Akron, West Akron, Ohio.
Oh.
They lived there during the early 80s. Their phone number, well, Charles, the dad's now retired, lives in Nebraska. He says he'll never forget the flood of phone calls from folks eager to ask one question. What do you think the question was?
Is Jenny home?
Is Jenny home? No, I'm sorry, you have the wrong number, he said. Is Jenny home? No.
That's funny.
Isn't that funny?
I hadn't thought about that, but I'm sure back in the 80s, is that when that song came out?
Yeah.
People might have been getting that phone call.
The Schambergers ended up
so
changing their number.
Okay.
Well, we've just started it all over again.
Well, everybody out there, call your local 86753.
No, don't. No, you can't say that.
Hey, you might make a new friend.
I think in I shouldn't say this, but I think in some area codes, people have said, "Oh, I got to get that number," and they have recordings on there and stuff.
Yeah, could be.
Okay. Boy, that was fascinating. Who should I, no, I'm just teasing. Who should I talk to?
Let's talk to Jeff in Pasadena. He's him and his neighbor. I think they're a little too close together.
It's always good to be close with your neighbors. Mm-hmm. Good fences make good neighbors, right? Mm-hmm. Hi, Jeff. Thank you, Kim Schaffer, phone angel. Hello, Jeff.
Hey, how are you, Leo?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. So I live in a condo where I have common walls. I have an Apple TV. Apparently, my neighbor has one, too.
Oh, crud.
A couple of occasions. Yeah.
You change the channel?
Well, it just turns on. And I'm sitting there, all of a sudden, my flat screen goes on, my soundbar goes on, and the Apple TV goes on. And then you see, she's trying to put in her code. And the first time I saw that, I was like, what in the heck is going on? I thought we were, maybe being hacked by somebody. And then it happened again, a couple months later. I'm just sitting there, all of a sudden, the TV turns on, and I look down, and the Apple TV light goes on. And I know one of my neighbors said, it must be an RF signal coming from your neighbor.
It is. It's the remote.
So how do you how do you make that not happen?
Turn settings. Well, I can tell you a couple of things. Hang on. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. There's a couple of things they can do to mess you up.
Okay.
Let me think about this. So one of the things is, does she ever AirPlay or play anything onto your TV, or does the channel get changed, or do you just see her?
No, it's just my stuff.
Just the code. Yeah.
When it's
and you see her trying to enter the code. Yeah.
Yeah, and that happened once, and then yesterday everything went on. I didn't see a code, and then because after a while, because I never knew how to turn Apple TV off, and I know if you don't use it for a while, it's like the little light goes off and shuts itself off. Then it went on again, and so I figured they were doing something. The problem is they don't speak English, so I can't.
Oh, you can't go because you could go next door and have them turn it off, but So if you turn off, I don't know if this will fix it entirely. It's an interesting question because the Apple TV is designed to watch for a remote, even one that you don't own, and pair. At least you have the code on there. That's pretty funny. I wonder what they think.
Yeah.
Like they're probably, oh man. So if you go into the settings, there's a setting for AirPlay,
Okay.
And it actually watches for nearby. So I think I would at least try turning that off. So settings, AirPlay, allow access, and then notice there's a checkbox that says allow nearby. That'll keep them from airplaying, but I think it might not stop the remote wake-up thing. So this will at least keep them from streaming to you. But they're not doing that anyway. Boy, this is I'm looking on the web. There's a lot of people complaining about this.
Yeah. I don't know if I should put like copper foil on my walls.
I would at least go in there and turn off allow nearby. I don't know if that would fix it. I think you might still, because what's happening is they're pressing their Apple remote, and they're close enough by that your Apple TV, I would say move your Apple TV as far away from the wall as you can.
Okay.
You could probably I would go into the AirPlay settings and look. There may be some things you can check. What if you put like a metal TV tray?
Well, that's what I wondered. Can I put some kind of an enclosure around this thing?
Well, you don't want to keep your remote from not working, so you want a kind of directional remote, a directional block.
I aim the remote directly at it anyway. When I turn it on, and I don't use it that often, and I don't even use the AirPlay feature, so I could turn that off.
Just turn that off, but I still think that it might wake up to see if it can pair with a remote. So I think if you put... If you got a metal like cookie sheet, I'm just spitballing here, but
yeah.
like so on this, and put it on the side of the Apple TV or the cabinet that they're on. That might be enough just to. You're probably right at the edge of it anyway, because it's got to go. It's got to go through a wall. It's got to go a few feet. If you just put something to slow it down, just try that. But also go into the AirPlay settings and turn off Allow Nearby. That might be also enough to tell the Apple TV, I don't want even nearby remotes. The problem is, if you get a new remote, you press the button on the remote, the Apple TV will then pair with the remote. And that's what's happening. And now they want to log in. And so, but your TV is smart enough to say, well, you can't do that. You got to have the passcode.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it?
Try a metal tin or something between them and you, and they were them and the Apple TV. That's what I would do. Wow, what a strange problem. Oh! I want to talk about manscaping a little bit. Dick, you can hide your eyes. This is for the grown-ups. If you. Is he covering his eyes? This is my Manscaped plug. Manscaped is actually the greatest. Manscaped, Manscaped, at manscaped.com/twit. I know some people are embarrassed by this, but let me tell you, as you're coming out of quarantine, as you're starting to re-enter the world, you don't want to re-enter the world as a Sasquatch, guys. You'd like to come back into the world like a human being, and maybe it's time to do a little grooming, shall we say? With Manscaped, grooming is fun. It's easy. And then they've just released, this is a public service announcement for all the Sasquatches out there. The Manscaped engineering team has confirmed they have successfully created, are you ready? The Lawnmower 4.0. It's here. You've been waiting for it. It is now available for purchase in the USA and Canada. It's their brand. Just moments ago, we are one of the first to get our hands on it and share the news. With over 2 million men worldwide trusting Manscaped, we're very excited to be able to offer this to you for 20% off and free shipping. I'm just going to say what my co-host, Micah Sargent, says, and I'll leave it at that. Trimming the hedges makes the house look bigger. It's just an important thing everybody has to do. Keep it tidy. This is awesome. Ceramic blade, safe skin technology, so good. It seems as if maybe they worked with SpaceX to develop this thing. Smooth, never pulls, never, and the Manscaped packages are so great. There are a variety of them. This has a multifunction on-off switch that can engage a travel lock. The worst thing in the world is when your Manscaped lawnmower goes off in your luggage and the TSA gives you that look. So you want to use that travel lock. That's awesome. The new trimmer even allows you to customize your trim overall with additional guard lengths, sizes 1 through 4, two-tone matte and gloss finish. Isn't that beautiful? It really looks slick. And there's a hot foil stamped black chrome Manscaped logo. Show that mower off loud and proud. It sits in a USB charger right on your sink there, so it's always ready for a quick touch-up. It's waterproof. You can groom in the shower. You don't have to worry about making a mess on the bathroom floor. I do it outside on the deck because I'm told that birds like the hair for their nests. I don't know. It does disappear by the next morning. And wireless charging, their new system uses induction, which means the battery lasts longer and it's easy. Nothing to plug in. If you're still trimming your face with something else with your face trimmer, you need the Manscaped. And look at this, brand new too, the Ultra Smooth package, shaving care 4 down there. If you like a razor, the Crop Shaver 3-blade cartridge razor, lots of lubrication, keep it smooth. I'll tell you what, I don't know how you're going to choose, but you get 20% off and free shipping if you go to manscaped.com/twit. Manscaped, manscaped.com/twit. Unlock your confidence. You got to use the right tools for the job. Manscaped. I'm a fan. What is hip? Scott Wilkinson, home theater geek. He's the epitome of hipness. Hello, Scott. How are you?
Hey, Leo. Doing good.
Contributor at techhive.com. That last call was interesting, wasn't it?
It was very interesting. I'd never heard that before.
Well, I'm not sure what's going on. So what I told the caller, I had to take a break, so what I told him off the air was, in your Apple TV settings, go to the AirPlay section, and make sure you disable Allow Nearby AirPlay. So that's at least going to keep them from. But I think what's happening, my guess is what's happening. When you bring in a new Apple remote near the TV and press the button, the Apple TV goes, and
new
pairs,
remote.
and it pairs. It'll even say new remote or remote paired. And so I'm wondering if that's what's happening. And if that's the case, okay, this is cuckoo. But it's probably just barely getting through the wall as it is. If you could move your Apple TV a little farther away, that might work. Or I suggested put a
cookie sheet.
Cookie sheet, something metal.
Yeah.
Tin foil on the inside of your cabinet. Tin foil actually doesn't work that well. Lead would work better.
No, because it's not conductive because it's galvanized or anodized.
Right.
I forget
the
name.
But I think a cookie sheet would. And just because that might be enough just to attenuate the signal enough so that they can't turn your TV on by turning on the Apple TV. That's what's happening. And if you don't want the Apple TV to turn on your TV, I think you do, but that's a CEC thing, and you could turn that off in the TV. CEC is the source of many ghost issues. The idea is that your TV is watching for a device to say, wake up, and then it goes, oh, and then wakes up. Oh, you want to play a show, and it turns on. Everything turns on. That's a convenience, but it's so poorly implemented in many cases that it also is an annoyance.
Sadly so.
What do you want to talk about besides that?
Oh, well, I do want to alert all of the listeners that my wife and I have a brand new song on YouTube. And I would love for people to go check it out because it's a hopeful ballad about the end of the COVID era.
Oh.
And all you have to do is go to YouTube, look for my wife's last name, Kazden, Cazden, and the words whole world, because the tune is called When the Whole World Opens Up Again.
Aw. I will also put a link in the show notes to that so that...
That'd be wonderful. Yeah. I would appreciate it.
You could just go to techguylabs.com and you can get
great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, I want to put a shout out to Mike Mann in the chat room, whose real name is Michael Klein, who is a video editor. He put the video together for that video, and I think it looks fantastic. I'm playing an electronic wind instrument. Do you remember the New Year's party at the Brick House some years ago?
Yeah.
Hey, there it is.
It's like an electric clarinet.
That's what it is, or an electronic saxophone.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Your poor wife staring out the window. She's got her nose pressed to the pane.
I know. She's waiting for the whole world to open up again.
I like the editing. It's like a professional music video.
Oh man, he is really good. Mike is really, really good.
You know, it's funny because the whole world is starting to open up. At least here in the U.S., I feel bad for folks in other nations where they're not able to get
India,
vaccine.
Places like that, terrible.
Even as close as Ontario, the province in Canada, where they're really struggling. But here in the States, where about half of us have had our shots.
Yeah.
We on Monday now we go every Monday to an outdoor concert, and at our one of our favorite restaurants has outdoor seating, and they bring in a band, and it's in it's a little park in the center of the town, and I think everybody's there, and the whole town, and it's quite joyous. It feels like the medieval times where we're dancing around the maypole. It's a Roaring 20s kind of thing.
Yeah. There are those who are saying, we might head into a Roaring 20s thing once we're really past this pandemic.
I wonder if it's going to impact television sales and things like that, because PCs and TVs have gone through the roof in 2020 because everybody's stuck at home.
Right.
The streamers making tons of money.
Tons of money.
The big tech companies making tons of money.
Yep. Will that fall off once people can get back outside?
I wonder. I think
live
what
shows. It's a great idea.
I'd invest in the national parks this year, and dance bands. This might be a good time to. I feel bad for performing artists because it's been a very tough year.
Musicians. As a musician myself, I have missed a number of opportunities to play concerts. We're not even sure we're going to be able to do Tuba Christmas this year in December. I'm hoping so. My poor son is going to junior college in the fall, and they're gonna still be online. And I thought, well, by then won't it be okay? But I guess prudence I think
dictates
prudence
caution.
Yes, I agree.
And if I can ever find that prudence, she's gonna give her a piece of mind. Anyway, when the whole world opens up again, Joanna Kasdan, it's on her YouTube feed, and very nice. Yep. And there you are on the electronic. What do you call that thing?
It's an electronic wind instrument.
Well, they should come up with a better name.
Well, that particular one is the Yamaha WX5. So.
Oh, that's better. Call it the Wind Bazooka or something. Give it a good name,
The cool thing about it is it doesn't make any sound of its own, but it transmits MIDI data to a synthesizer.
Yeah.
And so you can make it sound like anything you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a very cool thing.
And you get the credit at the end. Scott Wilkinson, Electronic Wind. It's kind of what I'm known for as well.
Electronic Wind.
Yes. So what's new in home theater?
Well, I just posted a review. You were speaking of Sennheiser earlier.
Yeah, they got sold.
They got sold to a hearing aid company.
Wow.
Which I found very interesting. But I just posted a review of the IE300, which are in-ear headphones that sound fantastic. They're amazing. Highly recommended.
So these look like a lot of common. They don't look like AirPods. They've got a big old.
No, they've got a little hook on them so that they remain more secure on your ear, which is great.
But they look good.
They look and they sound fantastic. I don't give very many 5 out of 5s.
That good.
But I did on the.
How much? Because the last time you talked about headphones, I think it was thousands.
Well, yeah, no, these are not cheap. They're $300.
Oh, that's not bad.
For the quality of sound that you're getting. They are transparent, well balanced from the deep bass to the high treble. Everything is just in perfect proportion.
It's sad. You need a headphone jack.
That is true.
and
true.
Modern smartphones
don't have a headphone jack.
I'm so mad at Apple. It was clearly really just about selling their wireless headphones. And tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe that any wireless headphone is as good as a wired headphone.
You are not wrong.
Of audio quality.
You are correct. Yeah. You are correct.
Yeah.
Which is why one of the reasons these sound so good, they don't depend on Bluetooth, which has a limited bit rate that it sends audio.
It's highly compressed as a result, right?
It's highly compressed as a result.
So get an audio, get one of these high audio DACs.
The iFi hip DAC.
iFi hip DAC, which you can plug into your phone.
Yeah, that plugs in with a lightning connector.
Yeah.
And then you plug these into that, and man, oh man, does that sound good. I mean,
Right,
this is an
me.
audiophile product. This is an audiophile product.
But $300 is a lot less than the headphones you've been.
Than the Focals. I know, $1,500 or $3,000.
Yikes!
Yeah, no, and they just sound wonderful.
Isn't it sad? Is it sad you think that Sennheiser? I mean, this is such a venerable name.
I know. They say they're going to keep the name and keep making the product, so maybe we won't see much change. I hope not, because I've got a pair of 40-year-old HD414s.
I know.
Yeah.
They're awesome. Scott Wilkinson, read his review at techhive.com. He joins us every week to talk home theater. He's our home theater geek. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More calls right after this. I'm gonna buy these because I like some headphones. Finally, you got something I can afford. Wow.
You have to plug them in. This is the only kind of bummer.
Well, I have two iFi.
You have a hip DAC.
Hip DACs, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Boy, if you're concerned about sound quality, these you can't go wrong.
Not as comfortable as over
great.
the ear. Do you think they sound better than over the ear?
I wouldn't say better. I would say you're getting an equally good sound.
So that's the question. So you're saying it's good sound for what it is, or it's good sound,
Period.
Period. Yeah, a priori.
Yeah.
So which is
this
it?
is good sound. Period.
Oh, it is. Okay, good.
No question.
Good.
No question. Now, I will say there's the one caveat is you have to make sure unlike over-ear headphones, which you don't have to worry about this, you have to get the right ear tip, right? So in-ear monitors come usually with a variety of ear tips, replaceable ear tips that you put on the end of the thing and it sticks in your ear. You have to get the size of ear tip that seals your ear canal.
But that's okay, because when we start flying again, you're going to want
that.
I wear Etymotics, and they go in ear deep, and that's the
and they
the
seal your ear canal, and that's a good way to isolate yourself from external noise. That's true.
Do these sound better than the Etymotics, you think?
Boy, I haven't heard the Etymotics
in a long time, huh?
In a long time, yeah. But these sound so good. I can't imagine. I mean, they have to sound at least as good. And they come with the ear tips. Usually the ear tips that come with in-ear monitors or in-ear headphones, even the largest one isn't large enough for my ear. I have a very large ear canal. So
you wrap some toilet paper around it or something? No.
I made a deal with One More to send me some of their largest ones.
Oh, you can get adapted.
Yeah. But
because it's a standard kind of nub that you're hooking these things onto, right? I mean, it's pretty.
Right. Correct. It's called the nozzle.
Standard nozzle. It's a sound nozzle there.
It's a sound nozzle, yes. But the largest ear tips that come with the IE300s, these Sennheisers, almost worked for me. They worked better than the other in-ear monitors I've tried with the ear tips that come with.
Yeah.
Usually you get 3 pairs. You get small, medium, and large.
Yeah.
In this case, you get both silicone and memory foam. And the memory foam ones took a little fussing to get in right.
Yeah, I'm not
prefer
fond
silicone.
of those. Yeah, I do too.
I'm not either.
If you can get the right size, yeah.
Yeah, but Comply is the company that makes these makes third-party memory foam ear tips, and they cost $20 a pair or something, but they're like really good or whatever. But I asked them at a trade show once, do you have any that are 14.5 millimeters, which is the size I like? And they said, no, we don't make anything that big.
Wow. Your own ear hole size, which is kind of impressive.
Well, since I have to
that's your job.
Review them, it's my job.
Yep. How do you find out what your ear hole size is? Just out of curiosity?
you basically you try a bunch of ear tips, you measure them, you can put them on a ruler and sort of gauge what their diameter is.
Oh, interesting.
And the ones that come with the IE300s are 13 millimeter.
Aha.
And And the biggest ones that come with the more expensive One More in-ears are 14.5 millimeter. So
I have my One More's died, so I should see if I have the
Oh,
tips
no,
still
really?
lying around. Yeah, I kill everything. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. So I don't want them more battery powered.
Well, they're less expensive. I compared the IEs with the One More quad driver.
Stick around to the top.
You betcha.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. It's funny how cool. What was cool is no longer cool. It changes rapidly, doesn't it? And then what's really funny is it gets cool again. I think it's cool again. That's what happened. Vivian is on the line from Riverside, California. Hello, Vivian.
Hello. I'm in terrific problem.
Oh, no. Vivian, what's the matter?
I'm visually impaired. I have an Acer computer. I have a SE iPhone, and I don't receive no emails.
On either device?
On both devices.
Okay. And who's your email provider? Who do you get your email from?
Microsoft.
Okay, so it's your email address is at something at, and don't say it out loud, at outlook.com?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. So when you go to outlook.com, you don't see the email?
I don't get incoming or outgoing.
But okay, so there's a couple of ways to get email from outlook.com. One is with the Microsoft Mail program or the email program on your phone, on your SE. Another way to do it would be to use a web browser in Windows. You can use the web browser and go to outlook.com. You'll have to log in with your Microsoft account and see if it's there. So that's kind of the official place that your email would be. If it's working there and if you can send email from there, that's great. Then it just means we have to set up the iPhone's email program and your local email program in Windows to work with Outlook Mail. So that's the first thing to do is use your web browser. Do you use Edge in Windows? I'm assuming you're on Windows.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm on Windows.
Okay.
Yes.
So the latest, if you've kept your Windows up to date, the browser now is called Edge, no longer called Internet Explorer. It's actually a pretty darn good browser.
Oh, I thought if my computer told me that.
Yes, they've made it official. And so there's a big pop-up says, you're now using Edge. So it's got the logo looks like an ocean wave. It's a little bit like the E from the Explorer, but it's an ocean wave. Okay, so you click that and you go to Outlook.com. And then you log in with your Microsoft account and see if you can send and receive email there. I assume the reason you say you're not getting emails is because you know friends have sent you email and you haven't received it.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
So see if that email is in the Outlook.com in the web browser. That's the first thing to do. If it is, then we know your account is set up properly. People are using the right address. And if you can send email with that, which if you can receive it, you certainly can send it, then we know it's working. Now, to get it to work in the Microsoft Mail app on your, is that what you're using to get mail on your Windows machine? It looks like a little envelope.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like read my mind.
Yeah, it's a little envelope. So in order to get that to work, you're going to have to, I think you have to set it up, which means you have to put in settings for Outlook.com. But maybe Microsoft should be smart enough. Come to think of it, they shouldn't make you have to set it up since you're using Microsoft's mail system.
Right.
Yeah, I would think you wouldn't have to set it up. You will definitely have to do it on your iPhone SE because Apple is not Microsoft and they don't know what your account is. So on the phone, you'll go into the Mail app. Apple also provides a Mail app on the phone, just like Microsoft does on the Windows. It's also got a little envelope on it. I guess we're all in agreement on what the icon should be. This is a little harder to do because the settings are not in the Mail app. on the iPhone. Apple, in their infinite wisdom, decided settings should be in the Settings app for apps. So what you're actually going to do is go to that gear icon on the SE. That's called Settings, and in that list there's a Mail. So you go down to Mail, and you can actually press Add Account, and you'll see Outlook.com as one of the accounts you can add. And all you'll need to do, you don't need to do a lot of settings, is log into your Microsoft account. In that they'll open a little window and they'll say, log into your Microsoft account. Once you've done that with your name and password, and remember, your Microsoft account is, sometimes this confuses people. The password for that is not necessarily the same as your password for Windows.
Right.
You know that, okay. So that sometimes confuses people. I know it does my mom. She says, what password? You mean the one I log? No, not the one you log in with. The one that you set when you set up a Microsoft account. So you know your Microsoft account password. So it's pretty easy on the iPhone. But it's just not where you think it's going to be. You go to Settings, the gear icon. You go to Mail, and then you add account, and one of the choices will be Outlook.com, and then you can log into your Microsoft account. I think that would work.
Oh, it's so easy.
It's actually pretty easy, but probably nobody explained it.
No.
You're just supposed to know, don't you know? You're just supposed to know, Vivian.
I enjoy your show terrifically.
Oh, bless you. Do you have somebody, because you have low vision, do you have somebody who can help you with this, or how do you use it?
My husband helps me with it.
Nice. Okay.
But see, my problem is I took it to a local store that works on computers.
Yeah, they should be able to do it. Yeah.
They didn't know how to deal with it because my computer reads everything to me.
Oh, yes, of course. Of course. So the screen reader baffled them.
Yes. And so that back to me, it was out of whack more.
Yeah, they said, we don't know what's going on. It keeps talking to us. Can you stop that?
Yes.
They can't have been very good, or they would have known how to easily turn that off.
Right.
I think if they were baffled by that, it's probably just as well you didn't let them do anything else, because that's pretty straightforward. That's a little surprising that they were flummoxed by the fact that the computer's talking to me. It must be bewitched.
Oh, they were quick to give it back.
Oh, that's terrible. So you can. It's a pretty straightforward thing, both in Outlook, in the email program on Windows, and in the email program on the iPhone. There even is an Outlook app for the iPhone you can use, and in both cases you'll just log into your Outlook using your Microsoft account. It's the Microsoft account login that you need.
Okay, Dan.
Vivian, what a pleasure talking to you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening to the show. We appreciate it. It's nice to know you're there. All right, Scotty. You're on, man.
Thanks, man. By the way, I turned on original sound just before we got started.
Good
so
man.
I
thought you sounded marvelous. It's rich, deep, and profound. You're basso profundo.
Basso profundo. Thank you so very much. Hey, everybody. We've been talking. I've been talking with Key 43 about recording music on a computer, which is how, of course, we did the new song, When the Whole World Opens Up Again, using a type of program called a DAW, Digital Audio Workstation, sometimes called a DAW. And basically, it lets you record multiple tracks. It's kind of like a multi-track recorder. And every time I use it, I think back to the early Beatles days and how they had a 4-track recorder, and they recorded all their early music on 4 tracks. And sometimes they had to do what's called bouncing, which is if you fill up, 2 of the tracks, and you want to record more than 2 more tracks, then you got to bounce those 2 down and mix them onto 2 tracks, and then you got 2 more tracks you can record to, and it was just a big pain in the butt. And with a DAW, you get as many tracks as you want. You can have hundreds of tracks, and people do. So we've come a long way, baby. So yeah, that's kind of cool. Hey, Kay Woods, Loquacious, always good to see you. MJ Ryder says, I should talk about Audacity being bought. I don't think I knew that. I have to go look that up. Certainly, these things happen. Companies sell, as we heard with Sennheiser. Mike Ice, Basso Profundo, didn't he play third base for Cuba? For the Cubs? Yeah, I suppose he might have. No, one of my dad's school chums ended up being a Basso Profundo, which is basically the name of the label used to describe somebody with a super deep bass voice. Much like coloratura soprano, which my mother was, which is a super high soprano voice and also very melismatic, able to execute complicated, tricky passages up very high. MJ Ryder, they are now owned by, that's Audacity, the guys who own Guitar Tabs. We shall see. Yes, we shall see. I use a DAW from a company called PreSonus called Studio One. And that's how we made this new record and how we will be making recordings in the future. And Nerdette says, Happy Mother's Day weekend to all, and I totally agree. I hope everyone has a wonderful Mother's Day tomorrow. We were going to take Mike Klein, or Mike Mon, out to dinner on Sunday for helping us with, to thank him for helping us with the song. But the place we wanted to go was sold out because of Mother's Day, and we totally forgot that it was Mother's Day. So we went last night, and it was lovely. The Tam O'Shanter on Los Feliz. Anybody here in L.A. wants a super great prime rib? That is the place to go, no doubt. And we had a lovely time. And thank you to Mike again for his wonderful video editing. He's a real pro, and I'm honored to be working with him. So let's see. Oh, somebody in Discord actually had, who was it? I think it was MJ Ryder. Oh, yes, here it was. But the DAC on my Note 9 that I bought because it still had a 3.5 millimeter port sounds like garbage. So it was kind of moot anyway. You know, that's a very good point. It's why I use the iFi hip DAC.
It's a pain to carry it around, but
it's a pain to carry it around, but you know it's going to be good audio.
Because it's digital out of the phone into the hip DAC, and then the hip DAC converts it to analog for the Sennheisers or whatever, or the stereo.
Or whatever you want to plug into it, right? Yeah. And the problem with using, if you do have a phone with a headphone output, you're relying on its DAC. It's digital to analog converter. Yeah. And it might be good or it might be terrible.
Apple's DACs are reputedly fairly good, but of course we don't need them anymore. I mean,
we don't need them anymore.
They have a speaker, but that's about it. Yeah, I'm not surprised Samsungs aren't that good. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just going to use the hip DAC.
Yeah. It is a bit of a pain to carry around. I totally agree with you on that.
It's not huge, but...
I mean, it's about a little smaller than the actual phone.
Right.
But it does add weight.
So I ordered those Sennheisers because we're going to finally be getting back on airplanes in a couple of months going to Hawaii, and I want a good sound system. So I think with the iPhone, the hip DAC, and those headphones, I should be happy. Yeah.
It'll be awesome.
Yeah.
That will be awesome. Let's see.
There is a rumor Apple's going to do hi-fi AirPods, and they have spatial audio. And that's kind of interesting. So
spatial audio is interesting. I agree. But if they're AirPods and they're wireless,
yeah, how good could they be?
How good can they be? Bluetooth only goes up to 320 kilobits per second at maximum.
Well, but Apple might, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did use a different technology Because if they own the whole chain, they can.
Then they can put in whatever they want.
Right. I mean, aptX is still highly compressed, right? I don't know how.
Yeah, it is.
And there's something later than aptX even.
Well, there's LDAC, which is a Sony one.
They're proprietary.
But I mean, Bluetooth itself is limited to 320. So no matter what codec you use,
right,
it's still going to be 320 kilobits per second.
AirPlay uses Wi-Fi, so that solves that.
That's true.
And
that does solve
I guess
that.
they could do
Correct.
some Wi-Fi-like thing. I don't know. Yeah, I like wired. I'm sorry. It really pisses me off that they took the headphone jacks, and they could leave it in the iPads. There's no excuse for not putting it in an iPad.
Yeah,
there's plenty of room. And so it's very annoying that they've decided to do it that way. Yeah. And right now, they still do send digital audio out the Lightning or Type-C port, but I could see them, in an attempt to sell more of these crap wireless headphones, turn that off. And then you wouldn't be able to use a hip deck. You'd be, because you need the digital, you need that data coming out.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be terrible.
Very frustrating.
Yeah.
Very frustrating.
Being just captive to whatever a company does. I feel the same way about streaming, though. That they can pull stuff out, out of their library, and all of a sudden it's not available to you anymore.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
It's like
Apple is laying this Scooter X. Pointed out that there's code in iOS 14.6 for a hi-fi music streaming, lossless music streaming out of iTunes. But the thing is, you still got to get it into the headphones somehow.
That's right.
All right, I got to run. Thank you, Scott.
Right.
Have a great week.
Thank you, Leo.
Take care.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk about computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches. 8888 Ask Leo is my number if you have a question or comment or suggestion. 888-827-5536, toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada outside that area. Still can reach me, but you got to use Skype to call. 8888 Ask Leo. On we go with a Q&A. Stephen in Rancho Cucamonga, California. Cucamonga. Hello, Stephen.
Hey, Leo. Nice to hear your voice. Nice to give you another call. But first and foremost, I just want to say you do a great job handling these calls for folks that don't know what's going on. I listened to a guy named Bill Handel, and I think he'd have a much different tone if he answered some of those calls.
But I love Bill. Good friend, very supportive of the tech guy. But that's Bill's shtick is, I tolerate no fools.
Yes. So
when it comes to technology, we are all fools, baby.
Oh, yeah. So when I go from listening to his show right into your show, it's a completely different.
Jarring. I know. Yeah. Well, he's a much bigger star than I am, so I'll tell you that tells you something about.
Hey, you're great at what you do, and I listen to you every Saturday and podcast whenever I can.
Oh, nice. What's your podcast?
So that's the main reason why I call. I launched a new podcast a few months ago. It's called, bear with me, everyone who's listening, it's called Lord of the Nerds Podcast.
I love the name, Lord of the Nerds. Very memorable.
We basically just go into detail about anything nerd related, whether it be Lord of the Rings, hence the name, Harry Potter, Star Wars, Marvel, DC. We just trying to cover it all. Like, we look at it as a good escape with all the politics and all the negative and stuff in the news. It's just a great escape for nerds to come together and try to voice. So I try to get a different person on every week. Problem is this is why I called. I have been using Zoom as a format to host a lot of these podcasts and get folks on, and it's great for what it offers as far as a basic recording that I can go back. But the problem I'm having now, Leo, is if I have more than two people on this show, I'm limited to about 40 minutes in time. So that's a problem. And two, I do an audio portion, which the audio portion I'm pretty savvy with as far as it comes to using GarageBand or Logic Pro. So the video portion is where I'm really struggling. As you know, with Zoom, if you're a basic account holder like myself, your videos that you record are limited to 720p. And in 2021, 720p just isn't cutting it these days. So I'm trying to find a good program, software app that will allow me to have more people on for the video portion, one, and something that I can host and edit the videos that's going to let me record these videos in at least 1080p or above. I tried one that was a trial. It was called Anchor FM. I thought it was pretty decent. I had some technical difficulties, so I wasn't even able to use it. So now I'm kind of scrambling and reeling, just trying to search all these different avenues. I've downloaded OBS Studios, trying to mess with that a little bit. That's a little tricky if you've never used it before.
I've been using it lately because I've turned into a teenager and I'm streaming video game play on Twitch. So I've been playing with that a little bit. I would say the first thing is, unless you have a compelling reason to do video, don't.
Okay.
Video, and of course we do video, but at great cost, and it's time-consuming, requires more editing, and so there's a lot of reasons. And most podcasts and most podcast listeners are audio. So even though we put out video, maybe most of our shows are 80% audio. I think that the benefit of video is small compared to the amount of difficulty it adds. So start with just sticking with audio. You're going through the journey I kind of went through. We've started my podcast network, and we have a couple of dozen shows and many hosts all over the world and so forth. And we started using Skype in 2005 when I launched it, because Skype was the only way really to do it. We've moved to Zoom because Zoom really does give you good audio, and seems to handle bandwidth a little bit better. Skype, one of the things Skype does is it will top out at a megabit and a half or something like that, and Zoom will just use all the bandwidth you've got. So if everybody, this is the key, by the way, everybody on the whole show has to have good bandwidth, not just you, but everybody else too, right? Mm-hmm. You're limited to 40 minutes because you're not paying for it. As soon as you pay for it, it goes up. And actually, I don't even think you're getting 720p at this point. You have to pay for it to get 720p. And then if you are willing to pay more, and we've started doing that, you can get 1080p, but you have to pay hundreds of bucks a year. So it's probably not, for a hobbyist podcast, not a good idea. Audio-wise, what a lot of podcasters do is use Skype or Zoom, anything to coordinate, but have each of the people on the other end record their end locally. And then send you, this is called what we call a double ender, then send you their audio. It's a little harder for you because you have to get them all synced up. But, what people do typically is have everybody clap at the beginning, 3, 2, 1. And then if you sync up the claps, the rest of it will be synced up. And that's actually the way to get the best quality audio, as if they're all sitting in the same room, because you won't have any digital artifacting, dropped packets, that kind of thing. So a double ender would be one thing to consider. You got to make sure everybody has a good microphone, good recording capability, that kind of thing. I think Anchor FM is actually pretty good. I haven't tried Anchor FM with multiple voices. It was purchased last year by Spotify. And Spotify, as you probably know, has suddenly become a big player in the podcast world. They spent $500 million acquiring podcasts. They spent $100 million on Joe Rogan alone. They bought Anchor FM and bought some other companies. They also will make it easier for you to make money if you decide to down the road, because they will sell ads for you. But there's a cost to that. You have to become a Spotify exclusive in many cases. Go ahead.
So I messed up. I actually use Anchor FM as my RSS feed.
Perfect.
To upload my podcast.
That's exactly what you should use. It's not for recording multiple voices at the same time.
The one that I did use actually was called Riverside FM. My mistake. It was called Riverside FM.
I'm not familiar with that. A lot of podcasters, James Ruvo is saying, use Zencaster, and I have heard a lot of people use that. It does, in effect, it does a double ender. I believe, as part of it built in. It's zencastr.com. So if you're just going to do, it looks like they do video too now. Okay, that's nice. So that's one to look at. And one of the reasons that they sound so good is they build in this double ending automatically. They handle it so it's much easier for you. Now, it's not free either. You're going to end up, I would try a lot of stuff. They have a free tier. But and they actually, in the free tier, will let you try 1080p. But once you pay, and I hate to say it because it's a lot of money, $220 a month, $240 a year.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. They'll allow you to do 1080p video recordings as well. So this looks like something to try anyway. And I have heard a lot of podcasters highly recommend Zencastr. So that's the one. What's this is something I spent years trying to perfect. Never did fully perfect it. There's always a struggle. There's always a struggle. But you're talking about Bill Handel and style versus Leo Laporte style. This is what's exciting to me about podcasting. In broadcasting, there's just a few seats. There's 70 radio stations in every town, and maybe one morning man on each. There's not that, or morning woman. Or morning zoo. There's not that much opportunity. But in podcasting, it's limitless. Last time I checked, there were 2 million podcasts. So that means if you feel strongly that you've got it, you're ready to go. And you don't have to build a big audience. 1,000 people. If you get 1,000 devoted fans for anything. That's what my friend Kevin Kelly says. 1,000 devoted fans for anything. You're golden. They'll support you. They'll build a community. They'll tell other people. So it doesn't have to be, Bill Handel size audience. But podcasting to me is the future of spoken word entertainment. I'm not going to say radio because it doesn't use a radio. It's very exciting. It gives everybody a chance to do it. And the problem is, of course, everybody's doing it. Just like YouTube, there's 1 million people doing it. It's easy to get lost in the noise. But I think I've always believed, maybe I'm wrong, but if you're really good and maybe you get a little luck, the sky's the limit. Look at Joe Rogan. Now, of course, Joe Rogan did have the advantage of being a commentator on Ultimate Fighting and on UFC, and being on the Man Show. On cable TV, so he already had a name. But here's a guy who's basically had $100 million payday because his podcasts are so popular. There you go. It's possible. That's to me what's very exciting about podcasting. Our show today brought to you by IT Pro TV. If you listen to the Tech Guy show, I think you have a knack. I think you have a knack for tech, right? Or certainly an interest. Have you ever thought about getting into IT? If you're considering a career in IT, you should know that one of the keys to getting that first job especially is getting a certification to show you have, the stuff. And then once you're in IT, getting recertified is very important as well. Keep those skills up to date, get new skills. And how do you do that? Well, my favorite way, the best way, in my opinion, IT Pro TV. IT Pro TV is engaging, it's fun, and you can watch it at home, streaming in a browser on your computer, on your iPhone or your Android device. They have apps for Roku and Apple TV, so it's easy. You can watch it anytime, anywhere. They have very engaging trainers. They're actually experts in the field, but they're also fun. They make it fun. And since you already like tech, I think you're going to love IT Pro TV. They call them edutainers. You need that cert because a certification shows employers or future employers you have the skills and the knowledge to do the job. And because tech is evolving constantly, those certs just don't last forever. So IT professionals have to stay on top of recertification. And of course, software is always getting updated. There's new software always coming down the pike. Certifications are one of the reasons IT Pro TV can be vital to your career. They can get you certified or recertified in CompTIA, Cisco, ISC Squared, Axelos, Microsoft, and more. They'll tell you how long the cert will last. They'll give you the tools to complete it, and they'll keep you recertified as long as you stay a member. I think it's just great. IT Pro TV gives you a well-rounded educational experience. They've got more than just instructors. They've got virtual labs, which let you do things like configure Windows servers and clients in your browser on anything, which I like because if I screw things up, which I usually do, I just close the browser tab and go, never mind, pretend I didn't do that. It's really awesome. They have practice tests, which you can take before taking the real test. That's always good for a confidence building and just, learning how to do it. And those great edutainers, they're fun, entertaining teachers who won't bore you, but they'll make sure you know your stuff. One reviewer says on the website, IT Pro TV is hands down the best LMS sites I've ever used. I've ascertained 4 certificates using IT Pro TV. The edutainers are the best in my experience. And you can read many more wonderful reviews at IT Pro TV. 7 studios, 5,800 hours of on-demand content, which are always being kept up to date. So you always got the latest information. That's something a book can't do. And frankly, a lot of classes in schools, their instructors aren't really up to date. But IT Pro TV always is. And the best part is you can do it anywhere. On demand via Chromecast, Roku, Apple TV, PC, iOS, Android. May is Cloud Month at IT Pro TV. They've been doing this lately. I love it. Every month has a different designation, and they can give you a focus on those things. They're training in all 3 major cloud providers, AWS, Google, Amazon, Google, and Azure. If you're interested in learning IT or getting certified for a job, you'll absolutely benefit from IT Pro TV. Start or advance your IT career today. Go to itpro.tv/twit. The offer code is TWIT30. You get 30% off all consumer subscriptions. itpro.tv/twit. Offer code TWIT30 for an additional 30% off as long as you stay active. That could be forever. It's worth it, let me tell you. IT Pro TV. Build or expand your IT career and enjoy the journey. Now back to the podcast. It is a podcast. It is. Her name was Sally. She was in the alley. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888. Ask Leo the phone number. Chris is on the line from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Leo. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you ever so for calling.
Oh, you betcha. I have a work iPhone, and my private phones have always been Android. And if I connect or pair my work iPhone to my Subaru, it plays navigation right over the radio like I want it to without having to click the button.
Yeah.
Android, whatever I try to do, will not interrupt the radio. I always have to switch to Bluetooth. I don't want to do that.
So the work phone is a iPhone?
iPhone 7, yep.
So this is something called ducking. The iPhone gives you a choice of pausing the stream or lowering the volume. If you're listening to music, you might just lower the volume. If you're listening to a podcast or a book and you don't want to miss a word, you would have it pause. But doing that on Android might be, it's one of the nice things I think in this respect about iOS. So let me just see if Android ducking for navigation, if that's possible.
Right.
Which is it, a Samsung?
No, it's a Moto G7.
Okay. Android does have this notion of ducking built in. Which navigation app are you using?
Google.
Yeah. You might have to go into the settings and see either in the Google Maps or in the audio settings of the phone and see if you can turn that on. I believe, as I remember in Android, it's app specific. So you would think Google Maps would have that built in, right? They call in Android, from developers' point of view, and I'm looking at the Android developers page, they call it audio focus. Only one app can hold focus at any given time, and that's what you want. So if you're writing the app, you should say to the operating system, I'm going to play some audio. I want focus, in which time the operating system will then lower the volume of the background app, the music or the podcast or whatever, and turn up the volume of the maps. You would think Google Maps would do that properly. So it is a capability of Android. I think you just have to check the settings and see if it is available. They probably don't call it audio focus or even ducking, because that's those are both technical terms. They probably call them something else.
Okay.
But there's going to be a way to do that. iPhone does it. In my experience, I have both. I have Android Auto and Apple's CarPlay in my car, And my experience, Apple seems to do it a little bit more better. But I think it's really down to the apps, not the operating system. In other words, the phone is capable of it. The app you use has to do it. I know Waze does it pretty well.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I have that too.
yeah.
I've never tried that one.
Yeah. If you use Waze, that is a setting in Waze. In fact, Waze will let you play music while you're navigating. I mean, Waze will handle the whole thing. And I think they do that because then they can be a little bit more effective at the ducking.
Sure.
Yeah. So it should do it. In other words, it's just a question of the app and finding the settings.
All right.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Appreciate the call. Glad I could help. I hope I helped. Wayne in San Diego, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Wayne.
Hi, Leo. Good morning, sir. Pardon me. Good afternoon.
Good day, sir. Good day.
My question is regarding the new Apple Mac with the M1 chip. I have one on pre-order coming in a couple of weeks.
Oh, which one did you get?
I got the middle of the road one, but I increased the RAM and the hard drive.
You got the new iMac?
Yes, sir.
What color did you get then? That's the more important question.
Pacific Ocean blue.
Ooh. That's because it's interesting because it's a deeper color on the back. Because Apple said, well, that's what people see. Well, I don't know about that. My Mac is faced the wall, but okay. I guess if you're in an office, that's what people see. And then it's a subtler shade on the other side. And you get the matching keyboard and mouse. I was going with the orange sherbet, but I didn't buy it. I just put it in my cart and looked at it. And went,
okay, well,
so
I have it on order, but people have been saying you should probably get the Apple Air laptop.
Why?
Well, I like the bigger screen myself. And
there was nothing wrong with that. So let me explain. So far, all the M1 Macs are the same. The MacBook Air, the MacBook Pro, the Mac Mini, and the new iMacs all use the same M1 chip. And while we are not sure yet because the iMacs haven't started taking delivery, I think they're all at the same clock speed. They certainly are for the first three. So essentially, that's the same computer and it's just a different form factor. Pick the form factor you like. If you like an iMac, more power to you. It will not be faster to get any of the other ones.
Right. I have an iMac that's been slowly dying.
Oh, no, I think you made a good choice. Now, here's the one thing. It is the smaller screen. It's 24 inches, not 27. And I think it is probable this year they'll announce kind of pro-grade iMacs or higher-end iMacs that will have faster chips and bigger screens. In fact, the rumor is 32-inch screens. So currently it's 21/27. They went to 24 for the 21, so it's reasonable to think they might go to 32 for the 27s. And you know, but the problem is it could be as soon as June. They've got an event in June. I think it's probably more likely in October. So do you want to wait till October or do you need a Mac now? I'd get the Mac now. It's beautiful.
I think it will more than suffice my needs.
Absolutely.
Last for years and years.
I'll tell you what, I have an iMac Pro, and I bought the M1 MacBook Pro. I stopped using the iMac. It's faster than the 10-core Xeon iMac with 64 gigs of RAM. This M1 chip is mind-boggling. I think you're going to be extremely happy.
Well, wonderful. I do appreciate you being a Mac user.
Good. Enjoy it. You got a great Mac. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Johnny. How you doing, Johnny Jet?
Good. How's my connection this week?
Oh, where are you? You're not at home.
I am at home.
Oh, you're upstairs.
I had to move up next to the router because I'm waiting for a part that has not arrived.
Nice.
It was supposed to be here at noon, but it didn't show up.
Move that mic just a tad away from your mouth. Away, not closer.
How about that?
Good. Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, good.
And what's on it looks like you got a beautiful Le Creuset pot. Is there anything cooking in that?
Well, my wife made sweet potato soup yesterday, which is my favorite, with cilantro and red pepper, onion.
Yummy.
So and she made biscuits yesterday for me.
You know what I did yesterday?
What did you do?
I killed a troll.
Oh, I think you're going to say a turkey.
A big blue troll. I'm sailing along, and pretty soon I'm gonna see that troll. And he's gonna. I tell you what.
Is that tin? That looks like that might be tin.
Oh, I think that was.
Let's just stop for a second.
I did not know how you find time for all this.
You know,
Discord,
I'll tell you how I find time. By giving up the rest of my life. This game is so darn addictive that...
That's the problem. I had to delete Spider Solitaire off my computer.
Yeah. See, there's a troll. See the troll in the distance? These things are about, I'd say 20 feet tall. And this guy's wielding a giant tree. And if it hits you with a tree, you're dead. But I, foolishly, because there were people watching, said, I'm just gonna go after a troll here. Watch this, I'm gonna make him mad now.
Oh, what game is it?
Oh, he's mad. Oh, he's
back
mad.
up.
Here he comes. Oh, he's coming for me.
Up fast.
Get out of go! Run away! Run away! Oh Lord! See that tree? That would smash my boat.
Big mistake. Big mistake.
Oh,
big mistake. Back up. Back up. Back up. See how far can he go out?
Oh, he stopped.
Hold on. Okay, now watch.
I'm just gonna shoot at him. Make him mad.
A little high because their drive's sunk. Well, he's not gonna be happy. Am I not hitting him?
I think I have to get a little closer.
Oh, I hit the boat. All right, let's go the other way.
He's been everywhere, man. He's Johnny Jet, our traveling guy. He helps you travel better with technology every week on the show. Website, johnnyjet.com. His newsletter is johnnyjet.com/newsletter/podcast for his podcast. And, of course, he's on Instagram and Twitter. And he is here with us. Did you go see your dad in Florida? Lisa says you did.
You know what? I was supposed to, but I had to push it because of his doctor's appointment, so I'm going this week.
That's exciting. That's exciting.
Yes, he doesn't know. I actually just cashed in miles first class, and I'm bringing him back. He doesn't even know that either.
What?
So I'm going to show up and say,
Dad, pack a bag. You're coming home. Dad lives in Florida. Johnny lives in Southern California. So, and the grandkids miss their grandpa, and they haven't seen him in a year, right?
Over a year.
Wow.
I mean, yeah. So he's ready. I mean, my dad's like 92. He's like, I'm ready to check out. I was like, well, you can't check out until you see your grandkids on both coasts. So then I'll probably take him to Connecticut where we grew up, and he'll see his other grandkids.
Nice. How exciting.
It is exciting. Yeah. And you know what? Speaking of exciting, travel is really picking up. Today, the TSA checkpoint set another record. They set one yesterday. They set one 2 days before, or a few days before that. 1.7 million people went through checkpoints yesterday, which is the highest since March 12th of 2020.
We're back, baby.
Well, business travel is not quite back, but leisure travel is really almost there. So,
but where can you go? Because you can't go to Canada.
You can't go to Canada.
Can you go to Europe now?
You can. Some places you can. And actually, although the UK just came out with some bad news yesterday saying that Americans did not make the cut, so we're going to have to quarantine if you go to the UK for up to 10 days after 5 days if you test out.
That's
I know.
So rude.
It's so rude. But there are countries in Europe that will definitely take you. Croatia. A lot of them are opening up, and they're going to announce a lot of it this week as well. So we'll see. You know, a lot of the specifics aren't there, but they're saying the EU saying vaccinated travelers, but Croatia, countries similar, are going to say, if you tested negative, you can come in. And actually, speaking of testing negative, just today or yesterday, the CDC announced some good news for international travelers, because if you leave the country, when you come back, you have to show proof of a negative COVID test within the last 3 days. And one of the problems was, it's not easy to find a place to get tested and to get the test back in time. Also, if you do test positive, you will not be allowed on the plane. The airlines are the ones that are regulating it, and you will have to, you have to pay for your own quarantine, and that can be up to a couple of weeks. But the CDC came out yesterday saying that at-home tests that you can get in America, you can bring with you abroad. and use them there. And there's all kinds of rules and regulations. You have to read it. I just wrote a post and go to the CDC site, follow the guidelines, but also keep note that some countries, they warn, might not allow the tests that we offer here into their country. So you could be breaking a law that way. So that's important to know. But
so Kevin, our chat room says in the UK, they're telling you to go to the Falkland Islands.
I've never been to the Falkland.
I have. There's mostly sheep, a few penguins, but I guess it's getting out of town for reals.
You're getting out of town.
Yeah.
But Croatia is the hot spot this summer. And
I love Croatia.
Delta just announced a new nonstop to Dubrovnik from JFK this week. United did a couple weeks ago. You're going to see, I think there's 5 air flights now, nonstop, that there wasn't before. Also, Australia, the bad news with Australia, they say they might not open until late next year now. Not 2021, 2022 they're talking about, which is a real problem because they were, leading the way. Now they're falling behind because of vaccines. And speaking of the vaccines, New York City is trying to allow any visitor that comes a J&J vaccine as part of their tourism ploy. So that will be interesting. And then some more really good news. I took that airline last week, Avelo Airlines, based out of Burbank. Well, they just announced this week they're going to start flying out of Tweed Airport, which not many people know, but I bet you do.
What is it again? Tweed?
Tweed, yeah.
No, I don't know Tweed. Why would I know Tweed? Because I went to Yale? That's why?
Yes.
Oh, because New Haven Airport is Tweed, New Haven.
Yes. That's why I thought you said Yale. I was like, yes, you do know. So not many airlines, if any.
It's the worst airport ever.
Is it? I've never been.
It's on a par with Rhode Island's, what is it, TJ Hooker?
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah.
I can't remember the name.
It's not TJ Hooker, but TJ. It's not. No, it's
TJ Green. TJ Green Airport. It's a small airport. It's kind of I like small airports. I just have memories of puddle jumpers from New York to New Haven,
and that's what they fly there now, including American Eagle. But Avelo is going to be flying 737s. So that's, and most likely will probably be going to Florida. They haven't announced where they're going to go, but that's coming soon. Travel is really starting to pick up. I mean, New York City said they're going to do 24/7 subways.
I'm telling you, it's going to be the roaring 20s. I already have that feeling in our little town when people come out. It's like, kind of like the Wizard of Oz, where the Munchkins emerge after Dorothy hits the witch with the house. Come out, wherever you are. Sure. And pretty soon it's, we're out of the woods, we're out of the dark room. Everybody's dancing. They're going crazy. They're setting bonfires in the street. I think that's what's coming. That's my prediction.
I hope so. But unfortunately, the rest of the world, I think only 3% have been vaccinated. So
that's the problem.
There's a lot of concern there with the variants. So you got to wear masks, and the TSA actually extended the mask mandate that it was going to expire.
I'm wearing you know what? You're going to know the generations that lived through COVID-19 because we will be wearing masks till the end of time. It'll be like depression babies. They'll know, oh yeah, he must have survived the pandemic. Look, he's still wearing a mask. I know that.
Well, you're going to have to until at least September 13th.
I don't mind. I like it.
They'll probably extend it again.
I'd feel naked without my mask.
Hey, I'm for it. Listen. I used to always travel with masks before the pandemic.
And people thought you were nuts. Now
they did.
They
did. So I actually feel good about it because now people won't look at me like I'm a weirdo.
You don't get colds. You don't get flu. It's not just COVID. It's a good idea. You still wash your hands. You socially distance. You're careful who you hug. Things like that. I don't think that's a problem. We could get rid of handshaking too.
And the big tech announcement this week was Seattle. So if you fly out of Seattle, their security lines have been so long because there's 1.7 million people going through security in the U.S. They're going all the way to the garage. So now they come up with this save a spot. It's kind of like reserving a table at a restaurant. So I wrote a post on it. You go to their website. If you fly Alaska, you can make a reservation 24 hours in advance. If you're not flying Alaska, you can go scan their QR code and just make a reservation while you're at the airport, and it will tell you when to stand in line to avoid these long queues, which is a great idea. Unless you have TSA pre-check or clear, which is the best out of all that.
Oh, this is such good advice. And, I've been looking forward to this day, Johnny. that we could talk about actually getting on a plane and going somewhere. Although I suspect this first year, it's going to be, for Americans anyway, a big, visit America year.
I think so.
Yeah, and which is great.
I still recommend it.
It's
I still
wonderful.
recommend it.
There's so much to see. People come from all over the world to see us. We're here. Might as well visit. Get to know the national park system, which is amazing.
What's incredible is that all these airlines are now offering these flights that they never offered before, like nonstop to Asheville from, major airports, or Bozeman, Montana. I think 8 airlines are now flying to Bozeman. So wherever there's a national park, you most likely will find mainline service from a major carrier.
All right. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. The man says, get back on the horse. The water's fine. Well, that's a mixed metaphor.
Well, if you're vaccinated.
if you're vaccinated, get on a horse and enjoy the water. JohnnyJet.com. That's his website. The newsletters there, free. They're great. Highly recommend them, especially if you're deciding to travel again. Lots of great articles, his podcast, and, of course, Twitter and Instagram. Thanks, Johnny.
Thank you.
I bet you stuff is booked up, right?
In terms of
So now
hotel,
we're thinking,
cars?
we were thinking Oahu, but now we're thinking the Big Island.
Big Island's probably a better choice. You will have to test when you arrive there again.
Okay, but maybe not in July.
No, actually, yeah, July 4th, they're hoping that they're going to do away with testing for vaccinated travelers. So we'll see. Again, if you think you're going to go, try and reserve a card now, because in Hawaii especially, car rentals are a problem everywhere. And actually, I was going to talk about it this week. I have 15 tips. I can bring it up next week on how to do it. But the best advice is to reserve early. You can cancel. So just try and get your car now if you think you're going to go.
Okay, that's good to know.
And I have a quick question for you, by the way.
Yes?
I'm writing a Father's Day gift guide. I'm looking for like a portable charger to recommend. I used the Nimble when I flew up to Sonoma, and I liked it, but I don't see a lot of people talking about it right now.
The Nimble. Let me look. I don't know that one.
They're from the founders that made Mophie, and it's
I love Mophie. Yeah.
And it's supposedly made out of corn, so it's eco-friendly.
What I would say, and you can say this in your thing, is what you want. This is really interesting. What you want is, if you're getting a charger, not a battery pack, I don't know if they have them in battery packs, is GaN, G-A-N, gallium nitride technology.
Can you bring it on a plane?
Yes, you can. The GaN chargers are smaller and cooler for the wattage. So those are for chargers. But I don't know about this Nimble looks great. I don't think there's much difference in battery packs. I mean,
well, when you say charger, is it so? I mean,
I'm talking about the thing you plug into the wall. Right?
Oh no, I need one that you
want a charger. I understand.
Yeah, because when you're on the go, if you're hiking or whatever.
Yeah. The GaNs are all, as far as I know, GaN is a plug into the wall thing.
Okay.
These look good. If it's made out of corn, how bad could it be? You do want PD, and I see they support PD 4.0. That's for Type-C power delivery, which is absolutely what you want. And the price is right. 20,000 milliamp hours for $100. That's not bad at all.
Okay.
Not bad at all. I think that looks the Champ looks good. I like the Wally portable charger. That's a wall charger. That's kind of cool because it has a built-in plug. But it's half the milliamp hours, which is not good. Yeah. I mean, I generally buy Anker, A-N-K-E-R.
Yeah, I have Anker as well.
Yeah. But
I was just looking for something a little bit different.
No, I like it. It's made out of corn is good.
Yeah, I think it's unique.
Tech for good. I like this. And then they do have the wall charger. Doesn't look like it's GaN, but I think that doesn't matter. Oh, it is. It's GaN. They are using GaN, so that's good. Very good. That means it's smaller and it's get more power with less heat. So this GaN charger that they do, which is a battery plus, looks really cool. The Wally Pro portable wall charger. It's only 10,000 milliamp hours, but that's because the plug-in part takes up some space. Gotcha. That looks good. Yeah, made from certified recycled plastic. I like that too, because these chargers are becoming a real environmental. Yeah, this looks good. You know what? I stand by it.
All right.
The Nimble Wally. The Nimble Wally Pro. 2 thumbs up.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, my friend. I'm so happy for your. I'm going to put this in the chat room because they want to know, where can I get that? For your imminent visit to your pops, and you're going to bring him back. That's so cool. That's so great.
I'm hoping he's able to travel, but he should be able to.
Good. Have a great trip.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I'm embarrassed to say I named that song in 2 notes. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888. It is kind of distinctive. Ask Leo, shall we walk the dinosaur? Who sings this, though? I'm trying to remember. Was Not Was? Is it Was Not Was? Yeah, Don Was. Yeah. Walking the dinosaur. Glenda in Costa Mesa. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Glenda.
Hi, Leo.
Hello, welcome.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm in. I work with a art framing and gallery shop, and we're going to start doing online auctions. And we have like 2,000 pieces of artwork.
Ooh.
We're taking pictures of, but we don't have them all framed. And so instead of framing, which could cost, $100,000, $200,000, I don't know, it depends on the frame, or more. Instead of framing, we'd rather take a picture of a frame and put that into some app, and then when we upload the photos, be able to slap them in a frame so it looks like they're...
It looks like it's framed, but it's not. Oh, it looks like it's framed, but it's not. You could do it manually, of course, with any, photo editing app like Photoshop. But it reminds me of, what are you going to take the pictures with?
Oh, an Apple phone.
Perfect. So it reminds me of a shortcut that you have on an Apple phone that will take any image. So there are a number of shortcuts on Apple phones. Are you familiar with the Shortcuts app? It's actually a great little app. Apple put it out. They don't put it on your phone automatically, but you can download it for free from the App Store. It's called Shortcuts. And it lets you automate things. And among the common automations is exactly what you just described, the ability to put a frame on a picture. So you could actually make it like almost completely automatic. Let me just see if I can find this, because it's
Is it called Shortcuts?
Shortcuts, plural, although they call it a shortcut, but the app is Shortcuts. And there are a number of shortcuts that will put frames on your iPhone images, your photos images. And what's nice about doing it in a shortcut is instead of having to fire up Photoshop and carefully size the image and put it inside a frame, it just does it automatically.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah, and it's fast and it's easy. And you know what? No one would know you're even doing it because it does such a good job. So let me see if I can find this. There were a number of them. There's some Apple shortcuts, for instance, that will take any picture and make it look like it's on Instagram, which is, if you think about it, also putting a frame on it, because it'll put the likes, it'll put the fake comments, and all of this. So let's see if I can find the picture frame shortcut. I don't think it came from Apple. I think it comes from a guy named, Federico Vitici. Now, he did one that does frames that the frame is actually Apple products, other iPhones and stuff. Let's see if we can find one. It probably wouldn't be too hard to adapt his. Federico is the king of Apple shortcuts. You should probably, if you're interested in shortcuts, know about his website, which is MacStories, MacStories, MacStories.net. And I'm seeing one that he made, and this is actually one I have, where he puts an Apple device around it. But let me see if I can find one that will put like a wooden, frame around it. There's also another great source for shortcuts, although you want to be kind of a little bit careful because in theory, some of these could be malicious. I haven't experienced that. But on Reddit, which is a great place for sharing stuff, there's a subreddit called Shortcuts, plural, /r. So it's reddit.com/r/shortcuts. And I'm sure I could find some in there. I'll tell you what, I don't off the top of my head have a link for you, but keep an eye on the Tech Guy Labs website, because I'll find one. I'll put it up there, or maybe our chat room will find one. We'll put it up there. But yes, that's how you would want to do it.
Okay.
That's exactly.
So, the shortcut.
So you need the shortcut. You need the Apple Shortcuts apps. And then we're going to find a shortcut. You could write your own. In fact, if depending on how ambitious you were, or if you had somebody who's kind of interested in this kind of stuff, you could take Frederico's shortcut, which puts an iMac or an iPhone frame around an image, and instead of that, replace that frame with something else. You know, a beautiful gilt, hand-carved, wooden 400-pound frame, if you want, whatever it is you want to put around there.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah, I will find it. We put a link in the show notes to the original article at Mac Stories. That, with a little modification, would probably allow you to put other kinds of frames around there. But I'm going to see if I can find one that does picture frames, because that's really what you want. I'll find it.
Okay.
Yeah. And it makes it very easy, because so basically what will happen is you put on your home screen on your phone a button that says add a frame. And then it'll pop up and it'll say which picture you pick. So you take all the artwork, all 2,000 things. You have them in your iPhotos, your photos album, right? It'll say which photo, you pick it from the album. It says, great, got it. Puts a frame around it and saves it to the album. Now you have 2 copies of that painting, one with and one without a frame.
Great.
Isn't that cool?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, I have to find a shortcut so you don't have to write one. But as I said, if you want to take a look at the one.
Yeah, because Leo, I understand you went to Yale, but I didn't.
Well, just to be clear, I dropped out, so I am not a Yale graduate. So I'm still working at a disadvantage here. Let's put it that way. Shortcuts. Okay. It's funny when I'm sure you do. When Apple came out with shortcuts, I thought this is going to change how people use the iPhone. It hasn't done a thing, because nobody wants to be a programmer. Everybody's reaction is exactly what yours is, which it sounds complicated. So I don't blame you. It gives you immense power, but you have to kind of program it. And that's not fun.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll find something for you. I promise. I'm not going to give up until I do. Chat room is looking.
Okay. So, okay, great. Thank you.
Hey, you're very welcome. It's nice to. What's the name of the gallery?
Michael's Gallery.
Oh, Michael's. I know Michael's. That's where we get our framing done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're right. It is expensive. It's worth it though if you have my mom's an artist, my sister's an artist, my aunt's an artist, so we have a lot of original artwork, and we always take it to Michael's. Not Michael's the store. Michael's. Another Michael's is an actual gallery.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking Michael's the craft store. No. That's where I take my stuff to get framed.
No, we're high end.
Yeah, I didn't think it sounded like that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I might have gone to Yale, but I still get my framing done at Michael's craft store. I'm just saying. Glenda, nice to talk to you.
Okay.
Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Little bit of a misunderstanding. Frames are expensive. They are. So this Federico Vitici's shortcut, unfortunately, puts an iPhone around it or an iMac around the image. It's for screenshots. It's 90% of the way there. Here's somebody's also found a website that will do a simple wooden frame. This is maybe the next thing. Thank you, ScooterX. TUXPI.com/photo effects. But it just puts a wooden, I don't know, they have a variety of frames. They have wood, stone, not fancy, but basic. So that's interesting. That's from TuxPi, which is a photo editor. They have a wooden picture frame. We'll put a link to that in the show notes. That might suit a little bit better. Now you've got to upload an image to the web and download it again instead of just doing it all on the phone. You know what? If I cannot find a iOS shortcut that does this, I will make one. I will just make one. The only issue with the current existing shortcut is the picture you're going to frame has to be the same size, right? So the frame is not resizing around it. It is a fixed size frame that you then have to make sure your photo fits into it. So that's kind of a pain. This looks like this TuxPI does it regardless. So TUXPI.com. It's a photo effects site. Oh, here we go. And here's an app. I knew the chat room would help. If I just pretended ignorance. Another one from Scooter X. Wooden photo frames editor and wooden picture effects. Look at that. There you go. It's an app for the iPhone. Go to your app store on your iPhone and look for wooden photo frames editor. There you go. A lot of different frames, a lot of styles. You could just do it in the app. That's the solution. Makes it simple. It's not. It says free within app purchases. Not clear what the costs might be. I think you probably get some basic frames and then you can buy some more. Oh, we're out of time. I wasted that whole segment searching around. $2.99. Not bad. Not bad. Oh, it's Mac OS. Sorry, not iOS. It's the Mac App Store. Thank you. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, and all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number from the U.S. and Canada. That's toll-free outside that area. You can still use Skype and call it. It shouldn't cost you anything. 8888 Ask Leo. Our last caller was trying to find a way to easily put phony frames around images that her gallery is selling. They don't want to frame them all, but they want to show what it would look like in a frame. And I mentioned Apple Shortcuts, which let you do it on the iPhone. And with some, I haven't found an app that'll do that or a shortcut that'll do that yet. But with some modifications, you could take existing ones and do that. But we did find, Scooter X in our chat room found a Mac app that will do that called Wooden Photo Frames Editor and Wood Pictures Effect from Ankur Chauhan. It is free with in-app purchases, $2.99 for all the frames. And it looks like it's got a pretty good collection of frames. It's pretty flexible. And it looks like it's a little more, a little easier to fit the frame to the photo. It's not quite as automated. So I think this is probably the way to go. So you'll take the pictures in the iPhone, get them all in the Apple Photos app. Then on a Mac, it should automatically sync over if you use iCloud Photo Gallery. And then you can open them up in Wooden Photo Frames Editor and put a photo frame all around it. So look for that in the Mac App Store. That seems like that would do exactly what you want. Guy in Mobile, Alabama is next. Hello, Guy.
Hey, Leo, I've got a PC that I have a hot swap bay in. Where I can run, I run Windows normally, Windows 7.
Yep.
But I decided to put another drive in. I just unplugged the one and put in a new drive.
Oh, that should be interesting. Is the operating system on the drive that you swapped out?
Yes, sir.
Oh, what happened?
And then, I want to learn Linux Mint.
Oh, that's a good use for Linux. Yeah.
And then I plug in a new drive. I loaded Linux Mint. It finds the Oki data, or it's an Oki C531DN color laser printer.
Okay.
That is hooked up by USB.
Okay.
And what happens is I can send a print job to it. It'll print the job perfectly. Then it spits out an extra sheet with 5 lines. And each line, the error is error, colon, and then the next line is timeout. The next line is offending command. And then the next line is timeout again. And then the 5th line is stack.
Okay.
And,
so you're printing out, and the printout does complete, from your point of view, normally, it's this extra page you want to stop.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So so what's happening, and this doesn't happen on Windows, I take it. It only happens on Linux.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So Linux uses a printer system to support. Really, it's kind of, in the old days, I would have expected the call saying, I can't print at all. But in modern Linux is actually pretty surprising. It uses a printing system called CUPS, C-U-P-S. It's an open source printing system. And what's great about it is it works with, Oki Data printer. That's kind of an obscure printer, but it works, which is amazing.
I say it's Oki Data. The actual model number is Oki C531DN.
Okay.
And
so now the question is, here's the issue. So you have to understand how printing works these days, especially on modern systems like this one. Instead of just saying print a dot here, print a dot here, print a dot here, the printer doesn't do all the work. I mean, the computer doesn't do all the work. That's called bitmap printing, and that's the old way of doing it. Nowadays, what the computer does is it generates basically a computer program which is sent to the printer, and the printer implements it. And there are two common programming languages for this. One is, you probably heard of, PostScript. That's the one from Adobe. PDFs are kind of a modified PostScript. And then the other one is PCL, which is primarily used by HP printers, but it's a standard for printing. And they're both languages. So the first thing to check is that error message is what you would expect if what I sent to the printer had either a bug in it or the printer couldn't understand the last bit. And that's, I think, what's happening. It's getting a program, in effect, not a bitmap of the printing, but a program. It's executing it. It gets through all the pages, and then there's a line or two of code at the end that it goes, I don't know what this is, and spits out an error message. That's one extra little bit of junk, right?
I have printed the menu map, thinking that it might be the printer that's causing the problem.
No. So it isn't. What it is your printer driver, your CUPS printer driver, is sending something to the printer, a program to the printer. The printer is executing properly, except for the very last line, which it's misinterpreting, and it is spitting out an error message as the last page. So there are a couple of possibilities. One is you should check to see if you're using the PostScript driver or the PCL driver, and if you're using one, try the other. Okay. You should look in the printer manual to what language the printer likes. Does it like PostScript? Does it like PCL? Maybe you won't see anything at that low level. There'll be something in the print driver on Linux that says, set it to print to an HP or set it to print to an Epson. It probably won't have an Oki Data as one of the choices. So it's doing emulation. So you really, it looks like Oki will do both PCL and PostScript 3. It sounds like Oki likes PCL better, but I'm looking at Oki Data, and a question on the Oki Data site, should I use the PCL or PostScript driver? And it says, choose the PostScript driver if you print mainly from professional desktop publishing and graphics applications or want faster PDF printing. Choose PCL if you print mainly from general office applications. It's an error message. It's exactly the kind of error message you get when a program doesn't work. It's a Stack Overflow, and that's very common because what it's getting a bunch of characters. It might just be damaged at the end of the file, but it's getting a bunch of characters and it's trying to execute it, and it says, whoa, when I execute it, my stack goes bluey, and it prints out an error message, which is kind of exactly what I'd expect and what you're seeing. So the only issue is maybe trying a different driver, playing around with different drivers and CUPS. Maybe you've got one that's close to but not exactly right. It's close enough to print the first 4 pages but not the 5th page. This is a little bit of debugging. This is unfortunately a little bit of what Linux sometimes involves. What's happening is you're getting down to the lower level of the operating system and kind of have to understand the guts of it. The benefit of using Windows or Mac, a modern operating system, Chrome OS, is it hides those ugly details from you. Linux, sometimes the ugly details rear up and snap at you, and you have to learn how to tame them. I actually like that because I kind of like to understand how things are working, but then I'm a geek. Most people just want it to work, right? And I'm sure you would just like it to work. All I can do is tell you what's going wrong, and by trying a different driver or a different language, you might fix it. It sounds like what's happening is that when the So the printing process, you have to understand, is you've got some, page in a word processor or something. You send it to the print driver software, which then turns it into code, PCL or PostScript, and then it sends that code to the printer. It's more efficient. The printer has a little bit of a processor, can interpret it and spit out the print job. There's reasons to do it that way. It's really much more flexible. So either what's generating the code is generating it improperly, or it's a slight mismatch between that driver and your printer, and the printer's getting something extra it doesn't understand. So see if you can use a different driver. If you can't, and it may not be an Oki driver, it may be from some other manufacturer like HP. HP and PCL kind of go together, so maybe try that. That might be your best bet. That's the fun. You wanted to learn Linux. That's the fun of it. I think it's great. See, to me, I love that. And the thing is, when you do figure this stuff out and you start to learn it, it gives you a much broader, a richer set of tools. Unfortunately, you'll need those tools, but it's nice to, I don't know, I like to know how this stuff works, right? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leaves nothing. Woo. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number if you want to talk high tech. Al's on the line from Columbia, South Carolina. Hello, Al.
Leo, thank you for being there, sir.
Well, it's, my pleasure. I'm lucky I get to do this. That's a privilege.
We're lucky to have you.
Thank you.
I would like to buy a Chromebook for my adult daughter. We want to have about $300 to $500, and it has to be sturdy.
Perfect.
She's hard on things. She's not going to be a heavy user. Facebook.
Perfect.
Email and browser.
That's all. Yeah. So the beauty of the Chromebook is it's more secure, more reliable, much more secure, much more reliable, inexpensive, but it is a little limited. Anything you can do in Chrome, the browser, you can do on a Chromebook. In fact, actually, it's a little bit more than that. Nowadays, you can run Android apps on it. You can run Linux and things. But basically, think of it as just kind of a very, very secure way to use a browser. And what you just described, email, Facebook, surfing the web, all of that you can do in Chrome. There are a lot of good Chromebooks out there. It's gotten to be almost crowded. They're the best-selling laptops now, easily, far and away. Samsung just announced some new Chromebooks. I think they're quite nice. But my favorite all along is I would say, is the Acer Chromebook Spin, S-P-I-N. And they're right there in your price range, ranging from $300 to $500 or even a little more, depending on the processor. Walmart has them. A lot of other stores, big box stores, has them. And I think the Spin is quite good. It's solid aluminum. It's got a decent keyboard. It's got a decent screen. It's called the Spin because you can spin the keyboard around behind and use it as a screen. So it's really nice for things like watching Netflix, that kind of thing. Good battery life. And if you want to see a variety of reviews from a trusted source, my friend Kevin Toffel is a Chromebook fanatic. He has a website, aboutchromebooks.com, and he reviews all of them. But he likes, as I remember, his favorite is the Chromebook Spin. Acer, A-C-E-R is the manufacturer. Love them.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
The other good ones, the Samsung Galaxy Chromebooks are quite good, too. In fact, those are also very affordable as well.
I called a couple of weeks ago and asked you about the MacBook Air, and I'm watching you on that right now.
Good.
It took me 10 days to get it after I ordered it. I could have gone to the local Best Buy and picked one up, but I wanted to buy it from Apple.
Yeah. How do you like it so far?
Well, it's great. The conversion from my MacBook Pro over to the Air was fantastic. It did things I didn't expect it to do, and I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, they say, are you up? Just like the phone now. Are you upgrading from an old MacBook? Yeah. Oh, good. We can handle that, and then just copy everything over, and that makes it very easy. It's as if you didn't, you just kind of upgraded, but everything's still there. So I like that, yeah.
Can you recommend a hub for use on the Air?
CalDigit, C-A-L-D-I-G-I-T. What do you want to do? What kind of stuff do you want to do?
Nothing real fancy. I want to plug in my internet. I want to power.
You just want more ports, basically, because it only comes with the one port.
Yeah,
yeah,
well, two, but
two.
One of them is for power, so you're limited to one.
Actually, you can use either one, but yeah, so the CalDigit has Thunderbolt hubs. They have USB-C hubs. I think they're quite good. There are a variety of different ports depending on what you want to do. It sounds like you want Ethernet, you want power. You could drive a monitor with it. Those MacBooks support Thunderbolt, so Thunderbolt's a little more expensive in a hub. But if you connect Thunderbolt, then the hub is really has everything you'd ever want to do. So depends on what you want to spend. But I'm a big fan of the CalDigit TS3 Plus, which is a very nice Thunderbolt 3 for the MacBook Air. Okay. It's a little big. If you don't want to get something so big, there are a number of companies that also make smaller dongles that'd be suitable for carrying in a briefcase. This is more like a dock. This is more for keeping it on your desk, and when you bring the MacBook Air home, you plug it in, and now you have access to all these other things, including an external monitor if you want. But is this something you'd like to put in a briefcase along with the MacBook Air and carry it around?
No, I'm not going to take it out of the house that much.
Okay. Then that's probably the right choice. You plug it into the wall too, so it needs power. There are dongles. I use a little dongle for my MacBook Pro that is very simple. Gives you all of those things I think that you just described, and it's small enough you can carry it around. It just has one port that plugs into the MacBook, and then has power going into it, as well as a variety of other ports, including an HDMI port. I think it's got Ethernet, card readers, that kind of thing. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Oh, I'll find it for you. I can search through my Amazon purchase lists. Quite a few companies. Company that makes Sanho, which makes the hyperdrives, also makes some very good ones. They just got sold to a bigger company, which will probably keep them going very well. But the hyperdrive, I've used them as well. It's hypershop.com. You can take a look at those too. Those are a little bit smaller. They have a universal hub, basically, that you can carry with you. So there's some choices.
Can I ask one more thing?
Sure.
I've got a Brother HL2300D printer, a laser printer.
She snuck in the printer question. Okay.
Something happened with the last update from Apple, and I can't print the way I used to. Have to just save a PDF someplace and print it from there.
Oh, that's annoying. You can't print directly, huh?
Right. But it seemed like a common problem. So I'd hate to buy another printer. I just had this one about 6 months or so. It was reasonably priced, but the new ones are scarce and more expensive.
Oh, that's frustrating. AirPrint should just work. You shouldn't have to do anything. In fact, there's something suspicious going on because you're able to print the PDF, but not from that app. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hang on, we'll talk. So that's interesting. So tell me what program you're using to print.
Right now, I'm using Brother iPrint and Scan.
No, but what are you printing to the Brother from?
Well,
everything, anything, Word, Microsoft Word, Pages. What are you printing? Browser?
Anything.
Okay.
Anything. I have to print. Let's say I'm printing an email. I have to print it as a PDF, save it someplace, and then go into the Brother iPrint and Scan, pick the PDF and print.
And so you're printing in the Brother printing app, printing the PDF. That just sounds like a configuration issue. It means the printer is talking to the Mac fine. I would go into your printer setup. I would remove that Brother and re-add it. Have you done that yet?
Yes, actually just today.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the first thing you think of, right? So you went into printers and scanners in your system preferences. You see the brother there. You pressed minus. You deleted it. You press add it again, and it's still not working. The next step is to go to Brother and get the app from Brother and make sure you get the latest one, because it could be that Big Sur is, it's different. Big Sur is big time different. For instance, if the Brother printing driver was a 32-bit driver, it might not work right. So you want to make sure you get one for Big Sur, the latest Mac OS.
Okay. I don't know if this particular printer has the AirPrint function. I've always had to use the USB.
Okay. Okay. I use a Brother with AirPrint, so chances are it supports it. But if you're using USB, that shouldn't make any difference. What's the Brother model?
HL-2300D as in David.
2300D. Is it a laser or is it a inkjet?
Laser.
Okay. Let's see. Which Brother models are, and you are using Big Sur, right?
Right.
Yeah. I'm just going to look at, we recommend AirPrint. Yeah, it says, you're using the print and scan app. Yeah, they're saying we recommend using AirPrint on Mac OS 11. I bet you there is an issue with the driver. Go to the Brother site and make sure you've got the latest. I'll put a link in the show notes to the Brother website. Make sure you've got the latest printer for Big Sur. I think if you can, you should use AirPrint. Let's see, what does it say here, too? In printers and scanners, make sure the drop-down at the top of the applet is set to your printer and not PDF or the last printer used. Yeah, that's a common issue, too. I don't know if that's the issue. It does say they want you to use AirPrint if possible on Big Sur. That may be that there is a printing problem with USB. Chat room has a lot of thoughts. A lot of thoughts on this. Now I just want to play more Valheim. Well, that's true in general. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888. Ask Leo. Tom in Santa Clara, California. Hi, Tom. Leo Laporte here.
Hi, Leo. Hi, Leo. How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. I called you a couple of weeks ago. I'm a retired IT professional trying to expand out and help more people in PC and other issues.
Good for you. Thank you.
And you guys recommended Zoom, which I thought was a great solution.
Mm-hmm.
However, go figure, one of the first persons in the church that I belong to who was having problems with Zoom.
Very common because everybody's using Zoom now, thanks to the pandemic, to go to work, to go to school. It's become one of the most popular programs in the world. And they can thank COVID-19 for that. So what problem are they having?
Well, I got the problem resolved.
Oh, good.
So no problems there. But it kind of, being in IT all these years, I always say you got to have multiple solutions for everything, right?
We call them, in the biz, workarounds.
Workarounds, got it.
I got to work around this thing isn't working.
Yeah. So I did a little bit more digging into solutions. I found this interesting article on Computer World. Go figure. I haven't used Computer World in ages.
Gosh, I didn't even know they were still around.
It's an April 2020 article. It's entitled 22 Free Screen Sharing Apps for Work at Home Collaboration, and had a lot of good solutions in there. Some of them up from vendors I've never heard of, so I kind of ignored them. But it kind of triggered me onto a couple of solutions, which I wanted to share a little bit with you and your audience. One of the ones is an old solution I remember using years ago, which is using WebEx, which is now
from
owned
Cisco. Yeah.
Right. And the nice thing about it is you don't really require a client. All you need is a Chrome extension or a Firefox extension or whatever. And
a lot of programs are doing that now, thanks to something called WebRTC, which gives you all the capabilities you need in a browser. So that's very popular, yeah.
One of the ones that was on there that I wanted to ask you about is an open source solution. I know you're big into open source. It's called Jitsi, Jitsi.
Yeah, I use Jitsi. In fact, I have a Jitsi server in the other room. I never was able to get. I wanted to replace Zoom at work because Jitsi's free, and I wanted to use it for family calls and stuff. It's basically a open source Zoom clone. Not quite as easy to use, but I love Jitsi. And I'm pretty familiar with it. I'm running my own Jitsi server, as a matter of fact.
Cool, because I tried putting it up on a Linux VM, and it seemed to work fairly well.
Yeah, I like it.
They do have tons of instructions out there on how to run it, like on DigitalOcean and all kinds of other solutions that provide virtual machines.
I wish more people knew about Jitsi. I'm glad you mentioned it. It actually is it's open source and free, like never costs anything, but it's maintained by a commercial company that competes with Skype and Zoom called 8x8. They've been around for quite a while doing video calls. So in a way, that's kind of the best of both worlds, an open source free project, but with a big corporate sponsor. And I like Jitsi. You can have multiple callers in a video window. It's, if you're used to Zoom, I'll be honest, it's kind of depressing to me, Tom, because like you, I like open source and free and all that. I just end up using Zoom. Everybody knows Zoom. Everybody has Zoom. It's ending up being the kind of almost, I bet you it becomes like Kleenex, one of those generic nouns that the owners go, no, don't use. But Zoom is going to become the name for video calls now and screen sharing. Yeah.
Well, the nice thing about Jitsi, too, nowadays is they've provided their own website that you can do a one-on-one with other people if you don't want to bother.
Right. You don't need a server,
Yeah, so good. I'm glad you...
Good recommendation. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
But take a look at that Computer World article.
I have a link. I'm going to put it in the show notes so everybody can read it. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care. Glad you found a good solution for you. I should mention the plug for our last caller that I use for I use it both for the iPad, anything with a Type-C connector, and my PowerBook. It is USB, I guess, no, it does do Thunderbolt charging anyway. This is from Plugable, Plugable. And I bought it on Amazon for $53. It's the Plugable 7-in-1 USB-C hub, multi-port adapter with Ethernet, compatible with Mac, Windows, Chromebook, Dell XPS, and Thunderbolt 387-watt charging, gigabit Ethernet, 4K HDMI, 2 times USB ports, SD and micro SD. It's actually a really nice little device. And for $50, fits in my briefcase. I carry it around. In fact, I probably have it here. I carry it around with me all the time. And that's the kind of dongle you need if you have one of these Macs, because they have so few ports, you've got to add ports. And this is a nice small one that I found to be very reliable. Let's see, have I caught up with everything? I want to make sure I mentioned that Hyper stuff from a company called Sanho. They have some really great plugs as well. It's sad because in a way, Apple just assumes you're going to buy a dongle. You live in the dongle world. The Giz Wiz, Dick DeBartolo's in the chat room. He says, I have 2 pluggables. Maybe that's where I found out about Pluggable. Come to think of it, probably was from Dickie D. I bet you it was. And even though the name is kind of silly, I think Pluggable's great. Yes, 2 G's. You're absolutely right. Pluggable, Pluggable. And they have a variety of docks, dongles. And I use that 7-in-1 USB dongle, which I think is really great. I use that with my MacBook Pro, and it's fast, and it's fantastic. Pluggable. No, 1G. 1G, Dickie D. I'm looking at it. It's got 1G. Not pluggable, but pluggable. I'm just looking at the dock right now. They have some actual docks. And what's the difference? One is a dongle and one is a dock. I think that's the difference. A dock is designed to stay on your desk. You get back with your laptop, you plug into it, you dock into it, right, as it were. And a dongle is something small enough you can throw in your purse or briefcase or, even pocket or laptop bag and take with you. You wouldn't want to take a dock with you. The other thing about a dongle is it doesn't have its own power supply usually, right? It just plugs in. A dock almost always sits on the desk, plugs into the wall, so it has a little extra power. There, we got it. Okay, James, write that all down. Did you get? If I know I'm going fast. If you didn't hear what I said or you want the links, we put them in the chat room, but we also put them up in the show notes on the website, techguylabs.com. James DeVruvo is writing that all down. That's free, no charge, no sign up. Techguylabs.com. It'll all be there. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. What about a dongle dock? You could put a dongle in a dock. That would be the double dongle with the dock turnaround. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Time for Dickie D. Dick DeBartolo, Mad Magazine's maddest writer, and our very own Giz Wiz. He's a gizmo wizard. Hello, Dickie D.
Leo, how you doing?
What do you use to shave that dome?
Mother Nature seems to, as you age...
She did it for you, huh?
It just goes on its own.
Dick is Mad Magazine's maddest writer for 5 decades now. He's just wonderful. He is also a gizmo nut, and he comes on here, among other places. He's also a regular on World News Now on ABC, showing off gizmos and gadgets. I always look forward to this segment, even though it is an expensive segment, because I always buy what Dick says. What do you got?
Oh, okay. So I have a smart TV, and even though I can hold up the remote and say, find so-and-so on YouTube, and the TV will do it, sometimes you have to fill in information, and you have to bring up that keyboard, and with the cursor go, ba, 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 A.
Not so smart, is it?
So I thought, I'm just going to get a little handheld keyboard.
Oh.
Because... my smart TV, I assume all of them have USB.
It's the worst thing entering in text on a remote is painful.
Yeah.
I hate it. So what is this?
So actually, it's a QWERTY keyboard that instead of using the mouse up and down to pick out the letters that's on the key on the screen, you can actually just use a keyboard.
Type.
Okay.
And it looks like it has a trackpad, too, for, like, mouse.
You know, Leo, actually, this one's very clever. This has RGB backlighting, 7 colors.
Oh, it's a screen.
It's a screen. Oh, no, this is the pad.
Yeah. Oh, that is a touchpad. Okay.
Okay. If you're going back to work or you're a teacher, it has a built-in LED light, a little laser light.
So it's like a flashlight.
For presentations.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And I actually did it on the GizWiz, and 2 people wrote in and said, we want one with a mouse pad in the middle. So I went out and bought a which has everything. Or RGB lighting in the background. Very bright, by the way. So if you're typing in the dark, this is good. And this has the touchpad in the center, so if you're used to texting, this is probably easier. And Leo, this one was $18.
This one is the Pony Bro.
Yeah, the world famous Pony Bro.
Pony Bro is the manufacturer. PONYBRO.
That is correct.
RGB backlit mini 2.4 gigahertz wireless. It's 2.4 gigahertz wireless. So does it have a dongle that you attach to, or is it Wi-Fi?
Yes, exactly.
No,
it's a dongle.
Okay.
They make a Bluetooth version also.
So you need to have a TV with a USB port.
Right.
Okay.
But you know, my LG has 3 USB ports.
Yeah. That modern one seemed to have them. I don't know. I could never figure out why. So now I know.
Oh, okay.
So it's for the Pony Bro. Well, that's
right.
We call it the Pony Bro port, actually. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you do.
No,
you're so technical.
But next time somebody calls and says, I'll say, "Oh, you mean the Pony Bro port?" Okay, so that's the one with it looks more like a kind of gamepad, and then there's one that looks more like a remote control, and that's from.
It is
E-Top Best.
Yes, except it's one of those generics because there's no word anywhere on the box or the instructions. Only in the small type did I find it says E-Top Best.
But don't worry about finding these because Dick has very carefully put links to the Amazon site Wow, the E-Top Best is only $24. It's cheap.
Yeah. And the backlighting is really bright. I like this a lot, especially the green and the blue.
Oh, it has RGB, so you different colors?
RGB, yeah,
nice.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So-
Except one thing.
What?
If you need F11, it's not on there.
There's no F11.
For some bizarre reason, the Pony Bro has all the way up to F12. For some bizarre reason, the little guy stops at F8.
Well, there wasn't room for 9, 10, 11. That's all.
Well, you know what? I've been using F4 and F7, and somehow my TV doesn't realize
4
that
plus
I'm trying
7.
To do,
yeah, no.
Yes, I'm trying.
TVs
I'm trying
don't
to do
math.
11.
They call it
it
a smart TV, but it doesn't know math. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, semi-smart. I have a
That
semi-smart
is-
TV.
That is fantastic. That's hysterical.
Isn't it?
Yeah, and look at
They
it.
said-
So which one do you like better?
Well, I actually like the one that doesn't have the F11 because it fits in a shirt pocket. The keyboard is super bright, very clicky keys.
So you like the whatever it is, the E-Top
yes.
Best.
Exactly.
The Pony Bro, maybe if you just wanted one that had a different
or people who text and want the touchpad in the middle. That's
This
the way
looks more like a gamepad. In fact, it's
it does. It looks exactly like a gamepad.
Yeah.
And both of them have multimedia functions on them too for fast forward and stop and play.
But no laser pointer. No laser pointer teachers.
No laser pointer. But if you have just a tablet and you want to add a mini keyboard,
this is
an easy way to do.
I love this. Well, you know what? You don't have to figure out where these are or what the names are because Dick has links on his website. So really all you have to remember is gizwiz.biz, gizwiz.biz, and then click the button that says the GizWiz visits the tech guy, and you will find both of these devices along with everything else he's ever mentioned on this show. But now, I'm glad you did too, because if you'd only done one, I would have just bought it. But now I have to decide. I'm going back and forth.
You got off easy.
Do I need F11? I don't know. I can't decide. Do I need a pointer for the cat? Maybe. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, the E-Top is so cheap. Maybe I'll get that one. It's hysterical. Just one more remote to lose, but what the heck?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not?
If you want to play the What the Heck Is It contest on Dick's website, you can also do that. There's a button for that. It says, What the Heck Is It? Well, that's how hard is that to remember? Click that big red What the Heck Is It button and identify a close-up of a wireless tabulator machine. You go left for 1, back for 0. I don't know what that is. Make up something. Best, you get there's 18 autographed copies of Mad Magazine at stake. Up to 6 for the best right answer, up to 12 for the best silly answer that's wrong. Judges' decisions are final, but all the details are available at gizwiz.biz. A chance to win an autographed copy of Mad Magazine. You have through the end of, June, right? So you got a little
The
time.
end of June, yeah. It's just kind of 1 week in.
Yeah. Very cool. Dick also has a great podcast. If you like crappy gadgets, you'll love the GizWiz podcast at gizwiz.tv. You've got mail.
Yeah, I do. and I like the new Casual Saturday look, by the way.
Well, I should explain. Of course, it's radio, so nobody cares. But Kimmy Schaffer has a favorite tie-dye guy who drops stuff off. And I mentioned him last week when he was here because he kind of looked at me funny and left a package at the door, and I thought, what the heck? But he sent one along to me. What do you think? It's kind of peach and pink.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah,
very summery.
Yeah, I'll wear this to the farmer's market and for the bonfire.
Oh, cheese, butter, and eggs and bacon day.
Cheese, butter, eggs, and bacon day coming up in Petaluma. Gizwiz.biz. Thank you, Dickie D.
Thank you, buddy.
You're
See
the
you next
best.
week.
We'll see you next week. Thanks to Professor Laura, our musical director, for digging up some fun hits from the past and maybe next time the future. I don't know. Thanks to Kim Schaffer, the phone angel, for answering your call. Thank you for calling. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. Couldn't do it without you. I'm Leo Laporte, your tech guy. Have a great Geek Week. Bye-bye. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget TWiT, TWiT. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on MacBreak Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.